Coming to you from inside the Student Center on the campus of Golden West College, it's the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review, brought to you by Chronic Tacos, Huntington Beach at Terra. And don't forget, you can always wake up early and treat yourself to a hearty breakfast burrito. If you're trying to watch the carbs, maybe get it in a bowl with a breakfast bowl burrito. Made fresh, your choice of chorizo, bacon, machaca, or veggie. Chronic Tacos open Sunday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 8:30 to 9:30 on the weekends. Located inside the Terra Shopping Center. That's 7621 Edinger Avenue, 7621 Edinger Avenue, or by phone at 714-890-6100. That's Chronic Tacos, Huntington Beach at Terra. Make sure you visit today. Rahshaun Haylock here, joined as always by Rustlers head coach Nick Mitchell. And Coach, you said it right here last week when we talked. You said your goal was just to go 1-0 that week, and boy, did you ever, in dramatic fashion. Incredible game. You win it by 3 on a game-winning field goal from Quinton Conaway. You improved to 1-0 in Southern League play. Take me through the emotions immediately after the game. Once that field goal went through, everybody ran to the far end zone. Quinton was jumping up and down. What was that feeling like to finally, end that 4-game losing streak?
Yeah, even if we would have won 4 straight going in, first conference game against Saddleback, #1 offense in Southern California, number 2 ranked in Southern California, it would have been big regardless. Anytime, the games are stressful enough as they are, it takes a big load off if you kind of have something put away early. So when you have a game that goes down to the wire like that, all your emotions are right at the surface, just waiting one way or the other to go. And, the fact that, coming off of 4 straight losses, every win is a big win. So it didn't matter who it was against, really, to win in that fashion would have been great. But the fact that it was against an excellent team like Saddleback made it even far better. We have a former coach on their side, buddies with a lot of their coaches over there. So, it's almost, really a rivalry game in many respects.
What's the message to the team immediately following that one? I know you guys always huddle win or loss right there on the field, and you always say something to them post-game. What do you say to them after that game?
Well, I was kind of going in a couple different directions early on, but just generally I talk about the goals that we wanted to accomplish with that particular game. And how, achieving those goals got us to, winning it. But really, ultimately, it was a special teams victory in many respects. Special teams scored 10 out of our 20 points that night, with the field goal and the touchdown on the blocked punt. We stress special teams tremendously. We always talk about winning the special teams battle, all that good stuff. And it was, a situation where really, you could say special teams won that game. Defense obviously played excellent throughout the night for the most part, except for one, drive or so. And our offense really came in, and having Zamari back, and using him, in some situations, touched on that a little bit. And he really, he had a chance to put the game away too there, before and not even having to use Quinton. But it's a catch that he's going to make 99% of the time, and the DB will not catch him either once he makes that catch. But we did finish off with the special teams and Quinton in the game-winning field goal.
You talk about Zamari Manning, a surprise to everyone in the stadium. He gets the start at quarterback, basically. You guys running a bunch of Wildcat stuff, something that we hadn't really seen before. We were talking about it in the booth, Andrew King and myself, and I thought, yeah, sure, you had some success with that. But I thought also a great thing about that with Zamari being able to make plays and being able to be so dynamic with the ball in his hands, able to extend drives, just enough to kind of keep that Saddleback offense off of the field. I thought that was a fantastic move. What went into that mindset?
Well, he's a special player, and we don't get those too often. And when I was running the offense 3 seasons ago, I probably erred on the part of definitely not getting him the ball enough, not giving him enough touches. So when he was getting ready to come back, I sat down with Coach Ship, our offense coordinator, said, hey, this, we have to get him at least, 25 to 30 plus touches a game. He needs to touch the ball that much because he can. and he should. Whether that's, punt return, kickoff return is a small part of that. Receiver, you can only throw so many quick screens and bubbles. So, he said, well, let's put him at, tailback and quarterback. And it started off with, really just the Wildcat. And we were practicing that going into Long Beach, but just didn't feel that it was where it needed to be. And that he was really where he needed to be, to run it, to kind of carry that load coming off the injury. So it's definitely something we're going to keep going with, hopefully to continue to expand on a little bit. I mean, we have pass plays with it, too. I mean, the kid can throw.
He had 5 pass attempts to the surprise. I mean, I was baffled up there to see him throw the ball. And there was one near completion that would have been a huge play for you guys, the confidence to allow him to throw the ball. Because, I mean, most Wildcats, the guys just run to, and that's about it. But he was able to throw it.
He's multi-talented. I mean, his little sprint throw into the corner of the end zone, the touch that he put on that thing, I mean, he just popped it in there. And I mean, it was like a perfect pass. It wasn't completed, but I mean, it was. So he can do that stuff. We're going to limit him just so, it's just little quick stuff, little sprint stuff for the most part, just what it is. But it's a huge advantage for us. When we're looking for really anything to get, the struggling offense going on track, keep drives alive, and put some points on the board. So
pretty much a defensive struggle in the first half. Both teams had opportunity to put 3 on the board, but both teams missed field goals. And it ends up being a non-offensive touchdown off of a block punt by Desmond Posse, recovered in the end zone by Nick Ebanks. You guys go into the locker room up 7-0 at the half. And then in the second half, it seems like all the fireworks started to happen, where this one kind of truly became an instant classic, if you will. They got close a couple times. You guys were tied, but they never took the lead. How much of a confidence boost is that for your group, being able to go forward, knowing that you were able to hold that team, not only close, not only get the win, but the fact that you never trailed in this game?
Yeah, I mean, just not ever having to figure you have to come back and win it, because obviously we've struggled scoring points. So anytime that we're behind, I mean, it's, you always wonder, can, we get this done? Can we do it? I mean, the belief is always, sure, we'll get it done. We haven't got it, but I know it's always there to get it done. So, I mean, obviously holding the lead, even being tied going into the fourth quarter, whatever, I mean, that, defense been playing pretty good, so they probably aren't going to score again, hopefully, and so that we have the chance to at least we're going to go into overtime. But, they gave us, a situation where we're able to finish the game off right there. But, yeah, it's a situation where I think that, where our offense is, anytime that we can get a lead, I mean, we've got to, the defense has to play well for us to be able to keep that lead, just because, points are not coming easy right now. A couple situations where, we did have the lead, I think, what do we have, 7-0 lead for most of the game at Cerritos, and then they finally scored, and then you're like, can we score once more? Can we get more than 7 here? I don't know. So it was good to never have been trailing in that game.
You talk about that defense. For all my money, one of the best defenses in the entire state as far as I'm concerned. 7 sacks on the night. And you were shorthanded. I mean, you get Seabass back. But, I mean, we talked about Damon Roberts. He's out for the season, obviously. But your linebacking core gets hit. Nomar Gain. He's in a concussion protocol, so you don't have him. But you guys are able to still step up. This is a Saddleback team, as you mentioned, came in the #1 offense in Southern California, averaging over 500 yards per game. You hold them to 238. Right. Incredible performance there by your defense. What stuck out to you?
Rallying to the football. I mean, you look at it, I mean, us running to the football. I mean, you go back and you watch the film. I mean, it's, we have wear the black uniforms at home. It's like this black amoeba that's just, flowing everywhere, wherever the ball is. And even when there's a missed tackle, I mean, then it's, there's 2-3 more guys right there to finish it off. There was, I think, one big missed tackle, which we had the guy right there. The linebacker was there to make tackle on their little speed option play, and he ended up cutting back. But a lot of times, if you're pursuing heavily to the football, that, cutback lanes are there from time to time. And so that got us. That was one big play. I know that got us, and the screen pass, which they executed well. But I mean, just flying around and being physical. I mean, we like I said, we sacked the quarterback 7 times. We must have hit him 10 times. And
those are some big hits.
Yeah, a couple times knocking the helmet off. That first one was a rattler, and I know he came out of the game for a little while. And that starts getting those guys thinking back there in the pocket, those quarterbacks. You know, they're not as comfortable as they once were. They start taking some shots like that. So then that helps everything, helps the coverage. It helps the pass rush. It was an excellent performance.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because it's almost like you set the tone from the very beginning. I can't remember if it was the first play from scrimmage for Saddleback. It certainly was the first drive, but quarterback scrambles Nick Robinson, and he takes a hit. His helmet flies off. He has to come out for a play. And from that moment on, I mean, you guys are just hitting him. You're hitting him. You're hitting Gibson. Vander, as you mentioned, he doesn't have any run room. Right here, you sat here right here last week, and you mentioned them and what he's able to do out of the Wildcat. Pretty much no success for Vander out of the Wildcat as that black amoeba, as you mentioned. I may use that on the air. So I'm just letting you know right now. I may use that on the air. But the guys were just running to the ball, and spectacular performance by D. Can't say enough about what your defense was able to do. Which takes us to Mr. Conaway. He makes the 40-yard field goal to win the game, but he had an opportunity in the first half. It looked like it was a battery issue, whether it was the snap or the hold or what. It was just a line drive kick that never really had a chance. And then right before you guys went into the locker room at halftime, he had an opportunity to put you up 2 possessions, 10-0, and he ended up missing that field goal. The confidence that you had in him in that situation to stick him back out there with the game on the line.
Yeah. Well, we know he has the leg. That's never an issue with Quinton. The question is just, of course, the consistency issue. But he's made some good kicks for us throughout the first part of the season, and he's missed a few as well. But it's not that he's scared. That's not the case at all. So we know he has the leg. We know he's not scared to get up there and punch it through. So then it's just, is everything mechanically going to go right for him to do it? And having missed 2 previous ones, I said, well, he's going to make this one. It's time now, right? Because just the percentages say so. So it was no big deal to throw him out there because, he's going to – even if he's 50-50, he's due for the big one right here. And I know mentally, he's great. So the situation and all would not affect him whatsoever. He'd love to do it. He'd love to go out there for the game winner and give it a shot. He's great that way. He's kind of no fear.
I felt awful, too, because right before he tried it on the field for his first field goal, I'm pumping him up. I'm like, he was making them from 50 easy in pregame, which he was. Yeah. It was a fact, but then you had the battery issue, and it's like, oh, my gosh. And Andrew's just all on top of me. He's like, oh, you jinxed him, announcer jinx, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But you mentioned his resiliency. He missed that field goal, and then you guys went in the locker room for halftime. And, he was just the whole intermission. He's just kicking him. And you can see the frustration in him and kind of hoping that he would get another opportunity. He made a huge field goal to extend your lead from 4 to 7. And of course, the game winner. Take me through setting that up, your discussions with him in terms of left hash, right hash. Is this something you talk about before the game? Are you pulling him aside during the drive? How does that work?
Well, the only thing that I really ask him is, after pregame warmups, what are we good for? What do we need to get to? So I have an idea of, approximately where the offense needs to get the ball. Obviously, we always want to try to get it in the middle of the field if possible. That's not usually the case unless it's a specific situation. Coach Ship did actually, with the runs, try to get the ball to the middle of the field. It just went a little further to the right, ended up on the right hash. But without a doubt, we want to try to get it right down the middle for him. It didn't work out that way, but, it didn't matter. Although maybe it did, and he was able to correct it because, with the timeout, he got a kick in. And I believe that initial kick at the timeout was just a little hooked it, just a little to the left, I believe. So potentially he was able to then readjust it slightly for the game winner.
And that was a huge point because I know the Saddleback sideline was upset that he kicked that, considering that the timeout was blown well before the snap. And reading, our Barry Faulkner wrote an article about this game, and he said you actually told him to take that practice kick.
Well, I did, but the point being in that I never quite understood why kickers and holders would stop once the whistle is blown. And what I was really referring to
continue the
was,
act.
Yeah, I said they're going to call a timeout. Just go ahead and kick through it. I wasn't referring to, hey, they call a timeout, let's look around, let's then snap it, then let's kick it. I was just saying they're gonna try to ice you. So when that happens, don't pull up short. Just go ahead and kick through like you normally would. But it wasn't. I know. I think there is no rule against kicking the ball either after a timeout that I've ever seen. And
I've never seen it either.
No, I don't think there is. And so they tried to say, the Saddleback wanted to say it was delay of game and all that, or, I don't know. But if there's no rule against it, it's so funny because, and then I heard somebody say, well, it goes against the spirit, if you want to go ahead and kick it afterwards. I said, but well, what about calling a timeout to ice the kicker? How is that in the spirit of the game? Okay, it's accepted. People do it, but it's not in the spirit of the game. The guy's going up there, let him kick. I mean, if you want to yell and scream from the sideline. So it ended up working out in our favor. And so, but it wasn't anything that was like that we practiced on the sidelines and during, the week or anything like that.
Quinton Conaway is our Chronic Tacos Player of the Week. He'll be joining us here later in this show. Now, huge win on to Palomar. And they have a DB by the name of Zach Galena, who him and Manasseh teammate have kind of been going back and forth in terms of the title for leading tackler in the Southern League. Galena now has the slight edge over teammate, but he's a defensive back that, from the numbers at least, it appears he's just kind of a guy that just runs all over the field.
Yeah, I think both of their safeties are probably in the top three for sure. He's their number one, and I think it's a linebacker, and then the other safety. And they keep those safeties really tight to the line of scrimmage. That's something that they do. They're going to play a lot of press man, and quarters, primarily coverage, but at tight quarters, and try to get those safeties loose and close to the ball so that they can fly around. They're going to do a lot of stuff with the fronts. They're going to show us every front known to man. So they try to get you with confusion as well up front, in hopes that, the O-line will, misstep with their blocks and their assignments, and that the safety will come down running free, which is pretty much what's happened a lot through the first part of the season. That being said, they are giving up, some yards this year as well. And it's it's always not necessarily a good thing if your safety is leading. Or granted, ours is leading our team, though, which I think is pretty good. But he's a good player. They're going to cause some trouble with the fronts. But they're going to be fairly, predictable, fairly straightforward coverage-wise.
Offensively, only completing 54% through the air. But they got a tailback in Josh Bernard coming off a pretty big game, 2 touchdowns last week, and their game against Orange Coast. What do you guys got to continue to do on the defensive side of the ball?
We have to stop the run. The tailback is good. And the quarterback he's not bad. He's not their strength. It's their running game. And their 2 outside receivers. They can get their outside receivers the ball, and when they do, those guys are talented. But 20 is kind of the tailback is really kind of their soul of the offense, and they're going to get him the ball a lot of ways. They're going to be a big zone team. They're going to be a big power team. They're going to run a lot of motions, a lot of different formations to try to, kind of like the defense, try to mess you up a little bit defensively, because you're trying to do so much. You're seeing this guy in motion, that guy in motion. Every time they come out, it's in a new formation. So what we need to do is just figure out ultimately what they're trying to do, regardless of all the outside static and interference of the motions and different shifts and all this stuff. Ultimately, they're still doing the same thing. It's just out of, slightly different formation, a slightly different leverage, position of the up back, whatever. Contain the pass. But, we have to be physical on the run because that's, where they're going to open up their passing game is, with the play action. They've always been a very good play action boot team. And so having a good solid run game obviously opens all of that up.
It'll be the Rustlers against Palomar, 1 p.m. kickoff right here on SportsNetUSA.net. We'll have it for you, and it'll be a special game. It'll be just a stone's throw from where we are right here. The first time in the 50-year history of this school that they'll play a game right here on campus. It'll be a huge tailgate party, 10 a.m. That's free. Make sure you guys come out for that. There's going to be games and food trucks, a whole bunch of fun and activities prior to kickoff, and, of course, 1 p.m. they'll kick it off. This is new for you also, Coach. I mean, there's never been a game here. What are your thoughts, and how different has it been just in terms of logistics and, getting everything ready for this big game? We've been talking about it for like over a year now, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm a part of that. I'm not a physical part of doing everything. Thank goodness we have a good support staff that's taking care of all of that. First time ever we don't have to get on a bus, and we can walk out of our locker room onto, the game field. So it's exciting. I think pretty much overnight they erected the stands and the box, and that's out there. And, it looks great. It's like, why can't this stay forever? Which is a whole nother story. But, it's going to be great. It's going to be, it's going to be a situation where the fans are going to be right on top of the sideline. They're going to be real close to the field.
Which could be a huge advantage if you guys all come out to the game on Saturday.
Right, exactly. We do need a great showing for a number of reasons, but for it being the first one, but to also, get some traction for in the future getting a permanent stadium right there. If we have a good showing here, it's a good experience, then that'll definitely help, with future endeavors to, raise funds, whether it be on campus, off campus, to get a permanent structure out there. Because we have the space, we already have the field, and it'd be just, it would make such a huge difference for the campus. So anytime you're able to get a stadium, build a stadium, renovate a stadium on campus, it really changes the environment to a large degree, because you could just do so much, in a football stadium out there, and potentially, future, you can. We wouldn't have lights, so it'd be 1 o'clock games, but that's fine. Then ultimately, if you want to get lights, you can host high school games or whatever you want to do. But to not have to get on the bus, not have to drive to your, arch rival OCC's stadium for the first time in 50 years. People don't think really understand kind of the, it's not a good deal to have to drive to your arch rival's house, sit in their locker room, look at all their stuff every Saturday for a home game. Yeah, colors galore everywhere. Yeah, orange.
We appreciate you for stopping, Coach, as always. Head coach Nick Mitchell of the 1-0 Golden West Rustlers in Southern League play. Thanks as always, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, Rahshaun.
We'll
Thanks,
step
buddy.
aside. Quinton Conaway will join us on the other side of the break. This is the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review right here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Hey guys, welcome to Chronic Tacos at Terra, Huntington Beach. My name is Caleb Walker. I'm the franchisee of this location. We've been here for over 5 years. Chronic Tacos has been around for 14 years. We got over 40 locations across the nation. Come on in. Taco Tuesday, $1.99 all day long.
Back inside the Student Center, it's the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review right here on SportsNetUSA.net. It is Tuesday, of course, and Tuesday is for tacos. Make sure you go check out my guys down there at Chronic Tacos, Huntington Beach at Terra. Now, let me tell you a secret. You know how you go to some of these places and they charge you extra for guac? Not so much at Chronic Tacos. You go down there, you order tacos, the guac is included. You can get any protein you want, whether it's the chicken, the carne asada. My favorite, of course, is the chicken. You get the chicken, you get you some cheese, some salsa, some guacamole, all included. Have yourself a Taco Tuesday at Chronic Tacos, Huntington Beach at Terra. I am Rahshaun Haylock. This is our Chronic Tacos Player of the Week, Quinton Conaway, kicker and punter extraordinaire for your Golden West Rustlers. I got to immediately ask you, let's just go all the way back to Saturday night.
All right.
2 seconds left. They send you out for the potential game-winning field goal.
Right.
What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking at the time?
That was the first time I've ever had a pressure kick, anything like that sort. I've hit kicks at camps and stuff in front of coaches, but not in an actual game. It was weird. I knew, just treat this like every other kick. That's exactly what I did. I said, just go through your stuff. This is a chip shot for me. I can do this and just do my thing, really. Tried to not let that pressure get to me.
Did you ever? And then once you see it go through the uprights, it's just pure jubilation.
Oh my God!
Storming the field.
I just didn't even know what to do. It just the joy. I just took off running, jumping up and down. I wanted to go get the ball and dunk it on the uprights. Then I got tackled and was at the dog pile. But that was just the best. That was the peak. That might be the peak.
That might be. Well, hopefully you have some more big kicks for the Rustlers throughout the course of this season. Now, the adversity for that kick, because you had missed a couple earlier in the game. Right. What was it like? Well, the first miss, you can blame me for it, right? I'll take the blame for it. As you're getting ready for the first one,
okay.
We were telling everybody at home that you were knocking them with ease from 50 yards out. You guys had some kind of issue with the battery. Did the ball get deflected, or it was just a bad hold?
I can't blame anyone else. Even if the snap isn't the best or hold's not the best, I got to do a much better job than that kick, especially of getting a decent effort at it. So I'm putting the blame on me on that one. Just mental mistakes.
Well, I'll take the blame.
Okay, I'll put the blame on you.
Okay. That was just a low line drive.
Not my fault.
Never had a chance, right?
Right.
So you had that one, and then you also had the one going into the locker room at halftime.
Right.
Put you guys up 10-0.
Right.
You didn't even go into the locker room at halftime. You went straight to the tee, and then you just started kicking field goals the entire intermission. How do you remove yourself from that situation to get yourself ready to knock down some big kicks?
You just got to keep moving on. You got to, you miss a kick, you miss 2 kicks, you miss 3 kicks. You got to keep going. It's funny. Monday Night Football 2 weeks ago, Roberto Aguayo, drafted second round, had an awful game, then made the one that counted. I literally was thinking, I was like, there's guys out there that are making mistakes just like me. If he can rebound, I can rebound. Just go out there, get back in my groove, do my thing, and it's a tale of 2 halves. And I really, I just had to focus on rebounding, and I did.
You channeled your inner Aguayo.
My inner Aguayo.
Now, the adjustment, because they called the timeout, right?
Okay.
And I know, and Coach Mitchell was saying, if the ball snapped, just continue the act. And so you kicked it. I know the Saddleback people ruffled
They were unhappy.
They were unhappy, ruffled a little bit of feathers. But you saw that one go wide. What adjustment did you make there to make sure the one that counted was good?
I swung too hard. So I just tried to hit it too hard, and that's such a problem of mine. I have a great leg. I don't trust it sometimes. I just swung too hard. After that, that one went a little left. I was like, what am I doing? Just do my normal swing, and I did the normal swing, and it went in.
Boom.
Should do that more often.
Split the upright.
Yeah.
Normal swing.
Normal swing.
And channel your inner Aguayo.
Yes.
There's 2 things that we've learned so far here today. Take me through the journey.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of stops, but prior to you coming here to Golden West, very interesting story. I'd like for you to share with some of the fans at home just where you've been and how the journey has been for you to get here.
Sure. So I'll try to sum it up relatively quick. Should I look in the camera?
Sure, if you want to. You have the floor. This is all yours.
So I'm from Edmond, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City. I was pretty highly ranked in high school, coming out with kicking. I had 4 preferred walk-on offers from Oregon, Kansas, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. Chose Oregon, sounded awesome. Went there, had a great time. Made a lot of friends that last a lifetime. Shout out to Kirk. Transferred to Texas A&M. One of my best friends, I made it Oregon. But I wasn't happy with the playing time that I saw that I was going to get. I didn't think I'd play till my junior or senior year. I was like, I can transfer back home, get playing time. Transferred to Oklahoma State. Almost immediately got hurt. Just wasn't happy. I'm a guy, I left Oregon. I wasn't scared to leave Oklahoma State. If you're not happy somewhere, if you're not happy with the situation, I don't want to sit back and waste my college years. So let's move on. Find a home. It happens. So transferred to Kansas, recovering from this injury. As soon as I get to Kansas, all the coaches that recruited me there left. And so, these new guys come in. They don't know who I am. I'm this injured, preferred walk-on kicker. I knew I was in trouble. I knew if I didn't amaze them in spring ball, it was going to be over. I didn't. I was coming back from injury. It's been a process, and they got rid of me. And I was like, okay, I like the University of Kansas. It's fun here, but am I willing to give up this dream of D1 ball? You know, I remember freshman year, I want Kirk Herbstreit saying my name on ESPN. That's like, I don't know why him. Just, you know, that is just the dream. So I was like, I can't do this. You know I have what it takes. Come here, you know, all summer, you know, just still working on getting that consistency back, and I'm still working on it. You know, it's still, as you guys see, it's a process. I missed some kicks that just shouldn't be missed, but, you know, I'm having just the time of my life. This is just, you know, I haven't for a second regretted this decision from the day I got to Golden West, and I'm just so happy to be here. And, you know, if it doesn't work, I lived in Huntington Beach for a year. I made some of the best friends, you know, already that I'll ever have, and it's just been awesome.
Why not be here in Huntington Beach?
Why
Surf
not?
City, USA, right?
Yeah.
Now, are you ready to have some fun?
I was born ready.
All right.
Here we go.
This thing we do each and every week right here on the Rustlers Review, we call it our First and 10 segment. So 10 questions. We'll just breeze right through them. I'll ask them. You tell me your answer.
Okay.
All right. First one. Nickname.
Swan.
Swan.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Geez, soccer coach, 7th grade, said I looked like a bird when I kicked a soccer ball, so he called me Swanaway instead of Conaway. One of my best friends from back home, Connor Williams, turned that into Swanee, and it just morphed into Swan. Some people call me Swanee. It depends, but really Swan. That's that.
Favorite sport growing up? Was it always football?
It was soccer growing up, okay. And I still miss it to this day. I'm not nearly as good. I wish I was, because it is so fun, but soccer.
Wait, yeah. Are you striker or defenseman?
I was striker.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, you get the ball. If you score, you score. If not, you don't have to run much. You wait to get another shot.
Plus, you can do some cool celebrations that they don't allow you doing football.
Of course.
Right?
Hobbies. Wow. This is tricky. You know, in high school, I always did distance running on my own. I just really liked it. I haven't done that recently. This is kind of a nerdy thing. I play the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is like my #1 hobby right now.
Really?
Played it as a little kid. A bunch of kids in school started playing in high school. I was like, hey, like that, I had fun doing that. So, yeah, went out and got some cards. And, yeah, that's like a nerdy, guilty obsession right there.
You like it, you love it. That's
I love it. I don't,
right?
Judge me if you want, I'm making 40-yarders playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Who cares, right?
Late night snack.
Late night snack, ice cream.
Ice cream. Any flavor?
Whatever's in the freezer. Freezer burnt or not, I'm going.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal. Holy cow. This is so tricky. Thanksgiving. At my home. My mom making it. I know everyone likes to brag about their mom. I'm sure it's great, but Thanksgiving/Christmas meal.
Mom's Thanksgiving.
Hard to
Christmas
beat, dude.
Meals. Okay.
Hard to beat.
Favorite team growing up? Any sport?
My dad was in the Air Force, so we moved around a lot. So I didn't really have that home team growing up with a home team. I drafted Aaron Rodgers in fantasy football a couple years ago, and since then I've kind of been a Packers fan, so that's the best I got there.
All right, go Pack.
Yep.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Interstellar.
I heard that was really good.
Oh.
I've never seen it. I heard it was an amazing film, though.
Me and my friends have watched it so many times. We keep watching it. It's just, that's a good one.
All right, every time someone mentions a movie, I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't seen that.
You got to see it.
I'm
Trust
not really
me.
a movie, but
that's the one.
Do you ever watch movies? The answer is no, I really don't. Unless it's Coming to America. Anytime that's on, I got to watch it. Biggest fear?
Biggest fear? This is from this week, disappointing my team. That has turned into my biggest fear because, it's kicking's all about getting over those kicks, and I got over those kicks, but, I felt so bad because I was, my team's out there busting their butt, and I'm, not doing my job. And that was just an awful feeling. That's why at halftime I was like, I got to come back because, they're working so hard. I got to do my part. So biggest fear, letting the team down.
Pre-game ritual?
Just relaxing, just having fun. I'm not to put the music in, get in my zone. I'm talking with guys, goofing off. I like being relaxed. So
you get a little running in too. I see you.
I do, yeah. So I have a warm up. I do the same warm up every time because consistency is key. But just being relaxed in general. Yeah.
Last one, celebrity crush.
Oh my goodness! Wow, this is so hard. I did not come prepared for this at all.
That's what we do here.
Celebrity
we
crush.
With the hard hitters right here on the Rustlers
guacamole. I'm just going to have to say, for back home, my girlfriend, Kristen Belote, she's a celebrity in my mind. That is my celebrity crush.
Getting the points. My man.
She probably won't watch this, but whatever, right? She fell asleep watching the game.
Get out.
No.
Oh, man. Back home in Oklahoma.
Back home in Oklahoma.
All right. This game on Saturday is going to be right here on campus.
Right here.
What's the talk about in the locker room? Are you guys excited about this game? Is it kind of weird? Like, what's the feeling?
You know, it is kind of weird, but, you know, we showed up yesterday, and the stands were up, and we're just all like, oh, my God, this is so cool. I heard Coach Mitchell talking like, why isn't this always here? Because it is awesome. So I think people are really excited. You know, it's a 1 o'clock game, so we'll get to watch some of that night football that we don't normally miss, you know, on TV after. I
you
think,
and me both, brother.
Yeah, yeah, you understand. But yeah, I really think there's excitement, and yeah, we don't have to get on a bus. No bus. That's a good thing.
Quinton Conaway knocked down a game-winning 40-yard field goal to lift the Rustlers past Saddleback last week to improve their record to 1-0 in Southern League play. And for his efforts, Conaway, our Chronic Tacos Player of the Week. His kick, our Chronic Tacos Fresh Take of the Week, all in one big shebang. And don't forget, these Rustlers will return home this Saturday against Palomar. 1 p.m. kickoff. They're going to have a tailgate before the game. That starts at 10. That's free. Make sure you guys come out for that. They're going to have food trucks, games, all kind of fun and activities for you prior to kickoff. Then you can see this guy with his long flowing locks kicking field goals from all over. He may hit one from 60 yards this Saturday in that cool day air out here in Huntington Beach. Quinton, we thank you so much for joining us here today.
I appreciate it so much.
Quinton Conaway joining us right here on the Rustlers Review. Special thanks to everyone here inside the Student Center, the Athletic Department, also TSS here on the campus of Golden West College. A special thanks to our guest today, Nick Mitchell, and of course, Quinton Conaway. Van Vu is our photographer. Ed Ford is our operations manager. Also, Vivian Vu here today on camera as well. Don't forget, Rustlers back in action 1 p.m. Saturday right here on SportsNetUSA.net for the first time ever. They'll be playing a game right here on campus. You don't want to miss that, and we'll have it for you. Well, for all of us here at SportsNetUSA.net, I'm Rahshaun Haylock saying thanks so much for watching the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review right here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Hey guys, welcome to Chronic Tacos in Terra, Huntington Beach. My name's Caleb Walker. I'm the owner and operator. Chronic Tacos has been around for 14 years. We have over 40 locations across the nation. We're known for our excellent customer service, custom ordering, and fresh ingredients. Please come check us out. Thanks.